Well, hello, my beautiful Cappies. How are you, my darlings? So welcome, all you new ones. If you've never seen me before, thank you so much for watching. My name is Cindy. I am the modern day spiritual advisor. I use multiple modalities, including tarot, astrology, hypnotherapy, mediumship, all kinds of stuff to help you on your path. So, my beautiful Cappies, this is a very different format that you're used to seeing with me. So what I've done is I wanted to kind of put together and let y'all kind of see what I'm looking at when I'm looking at your chart and doing these videos. And then what I've also done here is I've already laid out a spread for you guys for the next 3 months, and we'll go over that sort of at the end. But in the beginning, I wanted to talk about the solar eclipse, the lunar eclipse that's happened. The solar eclipse is happening tomorrow on the 15th. And what house it's going to be in, so what it's going to be activating for you. We're going to go over a couple of other planets, and then we'll move on to the tarot spread. So let's talk about the solar eclipse. If you guys can remember what you were doing about 6 months ago, those things are probably going to come up and be prominent again. Okay, so that was about summertime when I did those videos. And I'll have the link to the Capricorn video, the solar eclipse Capricorn video where I did solar and lunar, in the description box below. I'll also have the full moon, because we have the lunar eclipse. So the full moon steps to take to release what no longer serves you, that energy. And then the new moon, how to manifest. I'll have those links below or either on the side at the end of this video. So, this is the thing. The reason that you want to release and then look to manifest in this new moon and full moon, because we had the full moon with the lunar eclipse, and that energy is going to be prominent for the next, especially 45 days. Well, now that we have the solar eclipse, it's like the lunar eclipse energy and the solar eclipse energy are on top of each other, especially in the next 45 days. So you have a lot of changes. So lunar eclipse is about endings, or the full moon is about endings, destiny, karmic stuff, changes happening, fated stuff. So wherever that lunar eclipse fell in your, whatever house it fell in your chart, is what you're sort of having endings and understandings and letting go of, right? And then the solar eclipse is about new beginnings and manifestation and revitalizing. That's the new moon, right? So that's why I have those videos, so you can do stuff to either let go of energy or look to what you're trying to manifest. Now, again, for the next 3 months, you're going to be doing a lot of endings and beginnings, endings and beginnings, endings and beginnings. As you release, you're bringing in new energy. You're bringing in manifestations. And you guys have been working really hard because in your house, Saturn's there and Pluto's there. So this is all about Saturn helping you work hard, which you're used to because you're Cappy, and manifesting those things into reality. So you're like the master at being able to make something material. Okay. You'll manifest it in a very different way than Aqua's, but you know how to really manifest something when you want it. Okay. So this is the thing. You've heard me say this before if you've seen me before, but if you've never seen me, I'll say this again. In our higher selves and our energetic body and our whole being, we can have unlimited amounts of energy run through us. But in this lifetime, in this world, in this physical plane, as our physical selves, our physical resonance, we can only have so much energy run through us. And that is the world that you create. Every situation, every relationship, everything. So everything is energy. Think about it that way. So your work, your career, your house, your car, your clothes, your coffees, your food, everything is energy. And you can only have so much run through you because of this physical resonance that you're in. So if you're holding on to things that no longer serve you, whether it's old clothes or an old desk or an old car or an old relationship or an old situation that you haven't let go of, all of that is being held in your energetic field, and then you don't have room for your abundance or your blessings or the things that you're calling into you, right? So a lot of times when you're trying to manifest something and you're calling to the universe and you're wondering why it doesn't come in, well, it may be trying to come in and you don't have room. So this is why it's important in this lunar eclipse to let go of what no longer serves you, so that your blessings can come in the solar eclipse. Make sense? So let's talk about this solar eclipse and where it's placed. So the solar eclipse, if you look, this is you, Cappy, right here. And this is where the eclipse is going to be at 27 degrees in Aqua, so Aquarius, right? So let's talk a little bit about Aquarius energy, because it's very, very different than your energy, right? Aquarius energy is a little bit more, so it's more quirky, it's very eccentric, it's futuristic. Aquarians, like, they have this understanding and this belief of about 150 years ahead, right? And so they're really good at creating, building, and manifesting. It's just in a different way than yours, where you will work hard for something. It's not like they won't, but they know how to manifest it without that much work. Okay, so the Aquarian energy is very compassionate, empathetic. It's got a lot of love for the whole of humanity. They're very, very old souls. Okay, they're personable. They speak the truth, and they're very generous, and they're very good at creating. So, and they're extremely, extremely intelligent, like you guys. So when you're in this solar eclipse, you can use this energy in a very Aquarian way to manifest the things that you're wanting in this house. And these houses, we have 12 houses. All of us have 12 houses for the 12 signs. And the houses are areas of your life, okay? So if this is you, Cappy, this is your first house. This is you. So whether you're sun, moon, or ascendant, this is you. And then Aquarius is your second house, okay? So the solar eclipse is going to be happening in your second house at 27 degrees. So the second house, what's that about? So the first house is about you, your identity in this world, how you see yourself, how you know the things that you know to be true, right? The second house is about the value you put to your identity. And you guys know this very, very well. So think about this way. You know, when you buy that, you want a car, and then you buy the car and you're like, that's my car because I worked really hard and that's the one that I wanted and I make payments on it, or I paid it off and I worked, that's mine. That's part of your, that's like a second house thing. That's the value you put to your identity that says, I am a person who is very responsible and gets what they want. That's my value, right? So with this solar eclipse happening in your second house, I see new beginnings, revitalization of things that were happening in the summer that are going to be coming up again. So your finances, your personal things, your all kinds of stuff, whatever it is that's material, and it has to do with finances too, that if you've been working on this and it hadn't come through, it may be coming through in this next 3 months for you. But again, as you release in that lunar, which is, if you look here, Capricorn's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the lunar eclipse was in Leo in your 8th house. So as you get to completions, as you become understanding about this house, as you grow in this house and let things go, as you fix things and resolve things, that's energy that's going to be flowing again to make room for this house, for the things and the abundance that's going to come through this house, right? So let's talk about what an eclipse is. An eclipse is, if you think of the way that it goes over the sun and eclipses the energy, so it puts you kind of like at 0 point energy. There's a lot of energy at 0 point energy. This is a partial eclipse, so this is not going to take you right to 0 point energy, but it's going to be really close. And there's a lot of energy there as well. And what it'll do is you can think of yourself at that particular energy, and wherever you're focused or your attention is, then it will launch you in that direction. So you can manifest in that direction. So if you're thinking about what I don't have, what I can't ever have, why it doesn't ever come to me, what I think people always do, well, that's going to be launching you into that direction. But if you think about what I know to be true, what I know I want, what I want to accomplish, what I know I haven't failed at before when I want something, and if you think about that, it will launch you in that direction, right? And this could be doing with your finances, a house, cars, things that bring value to you, things that you've wanted to work so hard for, or you have been working so hard for to attain. I can see that happening for you in the next 3 months as you're releasing in this eighth house. So let's talk about this eighth house real quick and what it means. So the eighth house is about, I'm sorry, I may have to cough. I'm still getting over this bronchitis. Pardon me. So this eighth house is about debt and other people's money and learning other people's money. So this can have to do with loans and mortgages and old structures. So as you're growing in this eighth house, you learn to let go of old structures, right? And this eighth house is about transformation and coming into your own power, understanding who you are and what you can accomplish. That's the eighth house. So as you're completing these things, as you're understanding these things, maybe you had a mortgage and it's almost done. Maybe you had a loan and it's almost done, right? Or maybe you've gotten a new loan and you've got a handle on it. Like whatever this is that you're completing or changing or understanding or growing in, as that energy releases, because you're not holding on to it, it's just running through you, then you're bringing in more abundance, more room for your abundance over here. So when I look at your chart, this is you, it's the second house. I see that not only are we going to have the eclipse in Aquarius, we have Mercury in Aquarius, which is conjunct. And in astrological terms, conjunct means that they're having a conversation to like a team, having a conversation to help you grow in this house, to help you attain the things that you want in this house. So think about what Mercury is. Mercury is the planet of communication. It also moves very fast. So it processes things. So these things that maybe weren't being shown to you or were being very difficult to get through, with Mercury there conjunct to that solar eclipse, you could all of a sudden, things could clear up and it could become very clear to you, and something could come through that hadn't come through before, and all of a sudden something that was very hard to attain is not so hard. You kind of see it, right? And you're like, oh wow, that person did that and I really got this. And so that stuff could be happening in your second house. Now in your first house you have Saturn, which you work well in. So Saturn, is that planet that makes you work hard. So it's the last planet that we can see visibly with our eyes. So you can think of it this way. You can see Saturn as like your goals and your dreams, right? And you're like, I see that goal and I see that dream, but it's just out of my reach. And if I stretch and if I lean into it and if I work hard enough, I can attain it. That's Saturn energy, okay? And so with it being in your first house, this next 16, 17 months, I can see where you really have the energy to do it. You have the drive to do it and the ambition to do the things that you've always wanted to do. Okay? Those things that you really, really wanted deep inside. First, you're looking to see what that is, and then you're working hard to accomplish it. And Saturn blesses you by bringing it forth and helping you bring it to the physical. So for yourself, if you're sun, moon, or ascending especially, if it's in this first house, if you're Capricorn, you're working in that. And Saturn just got into that. So these things that you had been working on, because Saturn was here, these things that you've been working on kind of lightened up, but they're going to continue to move forward and bless you. Saturn's going to continue to bless you, but it needs you to be responsible in these things. Now, in the next 16 months, it's going to get closer to Pluto. Of course, Pluto moves, but it doesn't move as fast as Saturn's going to move. So it's going to get closer to Pluto. And as it gets closer to Pluto, it's going to conjunct. So it's going to start having a conversation with Pluto. Pluto is all about transformation. So I can see you, Capricorns. And I said this before I was even looking at the charts like months ago. I said, I feel like a lot of you are going to be married or getting married or on your way to get married this year, right? So either you're finding someone this year, but it is like a life partner. I'm feeling this. I've sensed this for a while now. And now I see why because Saturn's in your first house. And if you've been working diligently at getting your life in order so that a person can come in, you may get blessed with somebody, that life partner coming in, because when Saturn gets close and has this conversation with Pluto, your life, your identity is going to be transformed. So if that means I'm at a more stable financial and loving place, then if I've been working towards that, I'm going to be transformed into that. Okay? So I'm really, really happy for you guys. I know you had a tough couple of years, and there's still a lot of work to be done, but you're not afraid of hard work. You're a Cappy. So I can see where a lot of you could get hitched. And then those of you that are hitched and have been married and understand that your paths no longer match, then we may be talking about divorce too. Okay? So this is the time in this next 14 to 16 months where you're really looking at that, where you're really investigating that. So the other thing that I want to mention is this Mars in your 12th house, because this is your first house, this is your second house. Well, this will be your 12th house. So Mars is in your 12th house. The 12th house is, you can think of it as your past lives, as your karmic stuff, or if you don't believe in that stuff, then you can think of it as the experiences that you wanted to experience when you came here in this lifetime. Okay? So that comes through this house. With Mars in there, there's a lot of energy coming through there. And with Saggy, it being Saggy in there, Sagittarius is all about making the unknown known. So where you had been isolated with Saturn in there, now that Mars is in there, I can see where these things that weren't being very clear to you are becoming more clear to you. And the thing about the 12th house is you kind of have a feeling that something's coming or should be coming, but you won't know exactly what it is until it gets here. So we're talking about fate, destiny, karmic stuff, changes in your life, okay? And right now Mars is in there giving that Saggy energy, giving your 12th house energy to have those things come through for you, okay? So you're looking at a lot of changes this year, Cappy. Now, in your 11th house, this is Scorpio. In your 11th house, you have Jupiter. We talked about Jupiter. I did videos about Jupiter. I'll have the links to all the videos down below. But Jupiter is that guru. He's the teacher. He wants to expand your house. He wants you to grow in different understandings. He wants to grow your soul. And when you do that, he gives you blessings. He gives you abundance. He gives you not just the knowledge, but the things that you're wanting in that area. This has to do with the 11th house of your networking. So it has to do with your 10th house. It supports your 10th house. Okay? So Scorpio wants to investigate. It likes mysteries and it likes to understand it, right? So it looks to me like you're learning about friends, you're learning about networking, you're learning about who is of value, who isn't, who you have time for, who you don't, being very responsible in that. And I see that because it's, see this right here? Because it's sextiling Pluto, I can see where you do have people coming in, you have new people coming in, you have old people leaving in this sextile, because sextile to me means opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. And so Pluto sextiling Jupiter means you're going to be learning about yourself and others. Okay? And there's opportunity in that. We never know. Some of you may have the love of your life come through here. But you could have the love of your life come through here. It just kind of depends on your path, right? So those are the main things that I wanted to talk about. I will now do, I hope that helps. I hope it didn't confuse you. But I thought it'd be better for me to show you guys. And let me know if you like this new format. So now we're going to go to, bear with me, and I'm going to make this tarot reading bigger. And then we can go over the cards. And I apologize for my voice. It is so bad right now. All right. So, I did this spread for 3 months. And see, you can see my cursor, but then when I move it over here, you can't see it. So I'll just have to describe it to you. Now, in your first position, you have the King of Swords. That's in the very middle. So this is you. So the King of Swords is all about being able to make the decisions necessary for not just his path, but the loved ones and the people around him, right? So he is very understanding and doesn't lag and thinks outside the box. And when it's time to let somebody go or time to bring somebody with, he'll do it, right? So he doesn't have a fear in that stuff. The King of Swords also comes to an understanding when he becomes the king that everything that he wanted and worked so hard for was always his to begin with anyway, because he has this bigger understanding of the universe, of source, of oneness, of all the universes. So he understands that we are the I am, and that it was on his path anyway. But it was because of the experiences of him having to work through these things. That's why it happened the way it happened. So that's the King of Swords. That's your position. I feel like at this time, you're really understanding when to let go, when to keep, when to move forward, when to include other people, but not disclude yourself, or not include yourself, right? I don't even know if discludes. I don't even think that's a word. I think I just made that up. Anyway, so what's crossing you is this Ace of Swords. So I put it up here because I wanted you to be able to see it. So the Ace of Swords, this is their advice, Spirit's advice in this situation. They're saying, in this energy of yours as the King of Swords, being able to make decisions, being able to handle all the responsibility, you have new beginnings, and new beginnings that are going to come from nowhere, and they're going to be fast, and you're not going to see them coming. Just be sure to stay in that energy of the swords, of making the decision to keep moving forward, because it's like that energy where you can feel like things are moving and moving and moving, and if you get on that train, you're not going to be able to stop because it's going fast, right? And so some people can get really nervous and not get on that train because they're worried about not controlling it. And they're saying you're in a position now as the King of Swords that you can think quickly and say, yes, I can do this. No, I can't do that. Yes, I can do this. I know how to do that, like that. And so that has to do with these new beginnings, because I don't think it's just one new beginning. I feel like it's a couple of new beginnings for you. Now, we could be talking about your work. We could be talking about your careers. We can be talking about your spiritual life. We could be talking about your love life, your romantic life. We could be talking about your family, your friends. It's kind of up to you and wherever your love has been focused in. That's what I'm talking about. So your third position down below the King of Swords is the Six of Wands. So this is where you came from. So you came from the Six of Wands. It looks like you were getting accolades, you were getting noticed, you were receiving the attention that you deserve because of the hard work that you had been doing, and that brought you to the King of Swords. Okay, where you're now at the top, or you're almost at the top, but you're making decisions in your life, in your career, in your family, in your friends. Like, you're making the right decisions right now. Okay. So congratulations, that brought you to the King of Swords. It made you that, okay? Now, in your fourth position, which is to the left, is the Devil. The fourth position to me in this spread is from now to 1 month, okay? So the Devil is all about addiction, lust, having a good time, really indulging in something that you love or want. And it looks to me like in this next month, you will be doing that. And that's a good thing for some of you, because the King of Pentacles or the Queen of Pentacles, their issue is they will get so focused on something, on work, because they're trying to make their life stable, that they forget to smile, and they forget about the little things, and they forget to relish in the now, because they get so busy. And so sometimes it's good for you to take a break and just breathe and enjoy what you have now. And it looks like that is going to be happening. Some of you may meet somebody and all of a sudden you're laughing and you're smiling and you're feeling a little lighter. Others of you could be dealing with somebody that you haven't let go of, that's sort of like an addiction. But whatever this is, it looks like you'll be dealing with that in the next month. Now, above the King of Swords is the 5th position. The 5th position is from your higher self. I always ask your higher self, what is the one message they want to bring through to help you move forward in love? You have the Justice card. So I see this a couple of ways for some of you, and it depends on your life path and the phase that you're in. For some of you, I feel like you're finally going to get the justice that you deserve because of all of the things that you have done for people and the taking the high road and being taken advantage of. I feel like that's all going to be coming back to you in this next 3 months. Well, let me just say this. Not all of it will coming back to you in the next 3 months, but a lot, but you'll be receiving a lot of it. You're on that path to receiving that stuff, because I feel like you're going to be getting it for the next 18 months. Okay. Now, the other thing too is, for some of you, I feel like the justice is about a divorce or a marriage. And so from your higher self, they're letting you know that you're on that path to doing that. All right. The justice is all about balancing, all about learning to let go when you need to and keeping what you need to. Okay. So that's from your higher self. Now, in your 6th position, this is month 2 and 3. You have the Lover's card. That's right next to the King of Swords. The Lover's card is about karma, or about relationships. It could be love, it could be family, it could be friendship, it could be your business, it could be contracts. But this is sort of karmic. These are things like the 12th house stuff coming to you because you wanted to learn and grow your soul in this way. Okay. That's for some of you. For others of you, it does mean what it looks like, as in that person, your life partner, actually comes in. Okay. But that's just for some of you, because I feel like not every Capricorn is going to be getting their loved one in the next 3 months. I feel like some of you Capricorns will be getting it in the next, 6 months. But you're on that road to finding and having your life partner come in. I do feel that. Okay. So congratulations. You'll be dealing with that in month 2 and 3. Now, if it's a business partner, I'll say this person's here to help you grow in that area. If it's your family members, I'll say this person's help you grow in that area. So, and everybody's lesson is different, so it kind of depends. Now, in your 7th position, down below the Lovers, is the 5 of Wands. So this is your fear. Your fear is always having to work so hard to attain something. Like, do I necessarily have to work so hard to be able to have the things that I have in my life? I know that there is an easier way. So your fear is that ever going to come about? With you being in the King of Swords, that's like that energy, and that Aquarius energy in your 2nd house, there to show you that it can be done in an easier way, right? But this is just a fear. So this could be about relationships. Do I always have to fight? Do they always have to take advantage? Like, this is just a fear. And a fear to me is there to remind you of what you don't want. So you look at the fear and you say, this is what I don't want. I know I don't want that. So I'm going to come over here and look at what I do want. I'm going to stay in that energy. I'm going to call that into me. Okay? A fear is just something to bounce off of. Like, you can sit in the fear. We all have free will. Or you can use it as a bouncing point. A point to say, okay, that's not what I want. I want this over here. And then come sit in this. Make sense? My voice is just getting worse. Okay. So in your 8th position, this is the way the universe or a loved one will be viewing you and treating you. So you have the Palace of Coins right next to the Lovers. So the Palace of Coins is a state of mind. This is the time in the next 3 months to be planning about what you're going to do next, okay? About how you're going to become more stable, not just financially, but in relationships too, they're saying. So in relationships, how do you see that? How do you see yourself in a loving relationship? What does that mean to you? That's what they're wanting you to sort of see and look at and delve into, okay? That will be happening in the next 3 months. You'll find that happening, that you'll be thinking about that stuff. Okay, thinking about planning when that person comes in. What am I going to do? What does that look like? Am I stable enough? Da 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 da. Like that. Okay, planning for your future. Now, In your ninth position, this is your hopes and dreams, the Two of Wands above the Palace of Coins, but I call it the energy that you've called in, right? It's just like outer energy that's coming in. So you have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is all about making a decision, taking an action. Not just making the choice, but actually taking an action and moving in that direction. So oftentimes what happens with this card is something will come to you and you'll say, well, if I go left, I may miss the opportunities on the right. And if I go right, I may miss the opportunities on the left. But with this card, they want to tell you, just because we're asking you to pick one way doesn't mean you can't have both. It just means at this time, pick one. Okay? Because you never know how paths cross. So when that happens, remember, if it's like a 50-50, just decide which one you want most right now. Doesn't mean you can't have the other one later. Just this one right now. Okay? Now, in your 10th position, the Queen of Cups, this is the overall outcome of what will be going on in your life in the next 3 months. You'll be delving through this, working through this. You have the Queen of Cups. So, could be for some of you that you got this queen coming in. She's a beautiful, very intuitive, very psychic queen. She has this way of being what you're wanting and needing, because she has this way of mirroring you and complimenting you, right? She's not one that's going to take from you. She's one that's going to be even with you, because she intuitively knows what you're wanting and needing at each moment, right? So in this next 3 months, this person could be coming in for you. Now, that's for some of you. For others of you, this person could be coming in as a business partner to help you. This person could be coming in as your lover, as your life partner. But whatever this is, it's either that she or he is coming in, or they're asking you in these moments, whether it's the Ace of Swords or the Devil or the Lovers, whatever's going on, they're asking you to really connect with you and your higher self. Listen to yourself. Trust what you're getting and move from there, because that's your guiding force. That's your GPS. Okay? So, I hope I helped. I hope I didn't confuse you guys. Please let me know in the comments below whether you like this new format. And please subscribe if you haven't seen me before. Consider subscribing. I love you, love you, love you. Bye.